phenomenal. I swear to you, the only thing that has changed about professional wrestling is the level of sophistication of an audience. That's it.
Mhm.
Here in the United States, they have known, the fan base here in the United States have known that professional wrestling was fixed or a work since the 1920s. That wasn't, it's not like they just came upon that, they just figured it out. Okay. So the one thing that you always have to do as a professional wrestler is you have to sell the objective. That's preeminently, that's the first thing you and always do. That's kayfabe, is you always sell who you are and why you're doing it. The only ifs, ands, or buts, because that's all that an audience pays to believe in, are those two things: who you are and why you're doing it. Okay. The second thing that you have to do, no matter what type of match you're working, and there's the term working. Okay, and we misuse that term these days because that guy over there, yeah, he's really good. He's a great worker. No, he's not. He's a great performer. He's a great athlete. He's not a worker. A worker is a guy who goes out and makes you believe a lie. That's a work, is a con. It's a sham. It's to make you believe something that's not real. And the only thing that's not real about professional wrestling is that the outcome is predetermined. The lie is that it's not, and that win or loss have a consequence. Okay. So the you sell the objective all the time so that you can work the gimmick of the match. Now, what's the gimmick? And all these terms are from Carney days, and I could explain all this and go into great detail, but that's a whole nother topic. The working the gimmick means this: how do you win? Okay, if it's a normal singles match, the two preeminent ways of winning that wrestling match are pinfall or submission. If you were actually selling the objective properly, then psychology is pretty easy. You're simply going to make it look like you're trying to gain and maintain control of your opponent to try to pin him or eventually wear down a body part and make him give up. Thus, by working the gimmick, you tell a story that allows drama because it creates a consequence to your actions, which then create heat. Heat's not a spot in the match or offense. It's a want, it's a need, it's a desire. Think of it when you were a kid and your brother or sister or your friend would play a game of keep away where they teased you with something, and just as you reached it and almost got it, they took it away from you. That's heat. It's not the heels offense, you nimrods. So why is tag team wrestling so bad today? Here's why. The gimmick, the easiest gimmick in wrestling is a tag team match because it's obvious, it's visual that to win the match, you work as a team by tagging in and out as much as you possibly can to eventually wear your opponent down, keeping the ring cut in half. But that doesn't happen anymore. And let's be honest, you all know that it doesn't. It's either you watch two singles matches or you watch two separate tag matches. And then you, for some reason, think that it's okay to one, completely ignore the official. Because the only reason the official's there, the only reason you have rules are to give you a structure, a foundation that now says one of these guys or two of these guys on the other team or in the singles match are doing something wrong to gain an upper hand. And they're doing it without being caught, which now drives the heat. It's unfair. It's not right. It's unjust. That's heat. Okay. A tag match, let's be honest, if it were real, and I always use this, not a shoot. Let's say you're actually going to shoot people in the ropes, it quite honestly is very simple, similar to UFC, but of course we're never going to see tag matches in UFC.
No.
But if we did, what would happen would be the two fighters would try to cut that octagon in half and keep their one opponent in that side of the octagon as much as possible by tagging in and out as frequently as possible. By doing this, you've told the audience that the more that the team tags in and out, the more jeopardy that their opponent is in, and the closer he may come to losing. The more he desperately tries to reach across the ring and make that tag, and just as he's about to get it, the other team pulls him away. That creates heat. It creates that want, that need, that desire to see him finally tag, and hopefully his partner will be able to turn things around. That's why it's called a hot tag, because the heat is on the tag by working that gimmick of the match. You've built that heat, that want, that need. And why it's so easy is because it's a visual thing.
By bringing it so close, but then not getting it. And then when it finally gets there, bang. And that's when the crowd loses their shit. The heater comes in.
And we could get even into finishing move, that's established. All that is just to simply give you a gimmick to be able to tell a story throughout the mess heat. That's why historically most heels always had submission finishes and most baby faces had bump finishes. Bump